Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Oh, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. This is RAERAES. You know, you can catch me on IG. You see that name there at All Day RAERAES? There it go. Anywho, I'm here to discuss this mess going on in Salt Lake City, child. Jen Shah, this little Tasmanian devil, is just causing problems. Is it me or what? Well, hey, if I was about to go to prison for up 10 years and possibly lose everything, including that good, fine man, Coach Shah, child, I would be upset too. I'd be going off the rails too. But you did it to yourself, girl. Didn't you plead guilty? Like I said before, if I ain't do it, I ain't pleading guilty. I don't care what info they got supposedly on me. Not me, not the kid. No, sir, no, ma'am. I will not be going down for something I did not do. Anywho, let me sit here and just go ahead and dive in. So they still on this doggone boat. Jen going off again, complaining to Meredith and Heather. Now, Heather pretty much said angieK is taking over, and I don't blame you for all this. She's trying to get the best room and maybe angieK don't know the, particulars and everything that goes on when housewives go on their little trips. She was never a housewife. At the same time, ain't it up to Jen, Tasmanian Shah, to tell her, well, when we do go, now Jen was planning it, and angieK was taking notes. So apparently angieK is under the impression that she's going to get the best room since she's the one planning things and yada, yada, yada. Hey, something tells me that Jen Tasmanian Shah is not being upfront. Go figure. angieK is now at the same time, right? angieK is complaining to the other ladies, who's at Danna, Lisa, Heather, and the rest of them, that about being conned, like the accusations Jen is being accused. Well, the charges that Jen pled guilty to. Hello, angieK. We're just going off because, last episode, she was telling her husband, I feel duped. I feel led astray. I feel run amok. I just feel like I'm part of the same crew that's suing her. Girl, see, when you have Bambis that come into the fray, Bambis, quote unquote, angieK, the unsuspected, the naive ones, the ignorant ones, they just are surprised and bewildered and dumbfounded when it happens to them, girl. Now, if everybody else accused pled guilty, what makes you think Jennifer Tasmanian Shah is innocent? Logic. Sometimes you just got to put stuff into logic, angieK, if you're listening, girl. But, we're going to see how it plays out towards the end of the season. However, angieK is just going off about being kind, and because, ain't nobody paid for that party that she threw for Coach Shah. And now Angie feels like she got to walk on eggshells with Jen. And I'm like, girl, see, most of y'all is walking on eggshells so y'all don't get Jen rattled up instead of confronting her. Well, I understand people don't like conflict. I'm one of them. I'm not the type to want to enter into conflict, nor do I start it. I ain't saying I'm gonna finish it. However, I'm gonna say what I need to say and defend myself. There's no need for physicalities, throwing things, and of course, hand movements and gestures may come about, but ain't no need to put hands on people. Danna is like, Jen's behavior is not healthy. Meredith just ain't getting into the mess. Her name is Meredith Bennett, and she ain't in it. She is the CEO of Fun, and she ain't trying to have no issues. She's just trying to have a smooth transition. What I think is Meredith knows Jen's going away to prison, and she just wants to just make nice and not get into no mess. But later on, her and Whitney and Lisa gonna get into things. I feel, but yeah. After all that mess, they trying to turn up. Child, why they dancing and they just showing their butts or their extended backs, just trying to sway and move. And hey, I gave her some shade. I did, because listen, this is the era of the booty, and we don't want to see no extended backs. Unless we can't see the back. Now, production, hey, keep the cameras above waist. Now, they're all pretty, cool waist up. They look great waist up. But we just need to keep the camera waist up, because, this is the era of the booty. And there was no booty in SLC. Well, actually, Heather got some back. Jen got some back. But, ooh, wait a minute. Did y'all hear Lisa say that Jen got her booty done? Girl, I get But, child, they dancing, child. They just turning up. Whitney, the first one to cock her legs open. This girl is just wild and all out there, child. I don't know about this. Anywho, child, okay, where I leave off on my notes, because I got some notes here. My notes say, Jen says angieK is not your friend talking to Lisa, right? While everybody back there trying to turn up and have fun and whatnot, Jen is still on one. Now she yelling at Lisa, because Lisa's trying to, again, are you my friend? Girl, why are you trying to collect friends? First is Heather, now it's Jen, Tasmanian Shah. So now Lisa's just, trying to get Jen to have a good time and not be so animated. However, that don't work. Jen is just on one, going ham on Lisa. I mean, ham on Lisa. Pushing Lisa and being real physical with her. Like, wait a minute. What is we doing? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Where is security? Because if this was another show, security would be there trying to separate them or stepping in, because folks is pushing on folks. Now, this been going on since season 1. Remember when she was slapping folks' hands and up there, where was it, in Vegas or somewhere? And she was going ham on everybody. Child, this this franchise is known for putting hands on folks. Now, ain't nobody, just taking two to the jaw or nothing, but or uppercut to the gut. But it's a lot of physicality on this franchise, and I'm a little worried. Other folks got security right there outside of the frame, and as soon as a hand go up, they're ready to pounce. So help me understand why wasn't no security there separating Jen from folks, because Jen, Tasmanian Shah. Hello. Oh, child. So anyway, while Jen's going ham on Lisa, she throws the little vegetable tray in the water. And Lisa was like, girl, why you can't be throwing food in the water? Jen don't give a doggone. Now, remember when she splashed the cameraman? season 1 because she was mad. They was all in that freezing outside cold hot tub thing, whatever that's called. Somebody help me again. Somebody help me understand, why is Jen Tasmanian Shah, who was on the brink of going to prison at this junction, at this filming, allowed to be doing all this physicality stuff? Girl, you doing the littlest one there and doing way too much. Way too much. What else is going on? She's throwing food in the water, and while Whitney and Danna are twerking, the man driving the boat said, ladies, get down from there. Stop that. They're like, oh, sorry. Y'all are way too old. Danna got gray hair. Whitney, you already in trouble with the church, and your husband in trouble. Well, he unemployed, trouble, and you doing all team too much. Team too much. Team too much. Child. So Heather sees all of this, and she she rushes over to break them apart, and they go into a confessional, and Lisa is sick and tired and pretty much tells Jen's business. Like I said before, Jen is fake. Just like her tits, just like her ass, and just like her face, just like everything. Lisa is sick and tired of being punched around and whatnot. So like I said, Heather rushes over to Jen's side. Tell them about, I know you're ambushed, but it's going to be okay. What? See, like I said before, I think Heather is just a little too comfortable with codependency. I think her years in that Stepford situation, or whatever it was called, gave her a certain mindset to overlook the abuser and be on the abuser's side. Again, I ain't saying she was abused, but what I'm saying is how she is relating to Whitney's abuse. She is just not siding with the victim. It's like she has an issue with being closer to the victimizer. I don't understand Heather in her thinking, but then again, she is two-faced. We're gonna talk about that in a little minute. So then Whitney, is trying to, she's trying to comfort the situation by trying to bring up Meredith, and Meredith was like, I ain't trying to get into this. Like Meredith said, her name was Bennett. She ain't in it. And Whitney tried it because Meredith caught on. She said, "No, I'm not getting into this so-called he said, she said, trying to lump me and trying to make it seem like Lisa was Because see, Whitney is saying that Meredith was talking about Lisa, but Meredith was like, no, Whitney was talking about Lisa. So Whitney is trying to get Meredith to, own up to it, but Meredith left. She's like, I'm out. I'm leaving. Bye. Now back to Jen Tasmanian Shah. She started throwing folks stuff in the water. She throws angieK shoes in the ocean, child, and one of Whitney's shoes. Talking about, hey, I don't care whose shoes these are. Excuse me. I don't care if there was $1.50, even though they were $1,500 shoes, child. I don't care if it was $1.50. They definitely would need security, and Jen Tasmanian Shah would need Dr. Beecham. Hey, you ain't throwing nothing of mine nowhere, not even on the floor. It's gonna be a problem, Jen. And don't blame it on being drunk, because I got your number, huzzy. Every time she gets caught up in some things, of course, what? People want to act like being inebriated excuses them and activates memory loss so that they're not being blamed or punished. No, heifer. You gonna catch these hands or something, because you ain't throwing my stuff all in. I'm throwing her in the ocean. She know how to swim. I'll be dipped and damned if she throw my stuff in the ocean. I would have been arrested on sight as soon as we got to the dock. Because, like I said, call Dr. Beecham. Now, why is Heather talking to angieK? Okay. Later, Heather calls angieK and telling her what's happening. And is totally two-faced about Jen. But then again, they flashing back to Jen saying, well, Heather is only 60% her friend because Heather really can't be trusted. But you all up in Heather's crawl, you know, and see, both Heather and Jen have the same two-facedness. And I believe they should be friends. But then again, they lie so much, and they both don't want to get caught in lies. They just, brush over things to make it and try and use a whole lot of gobbledygook and jargon to try and throw you off their scent. I see you, Hef. I see you. So then Lisa makes her phone call. She calls her husband, John, complaining about what happened on the boat and how Jen was real, physical with her. And he was like, I hate that. Of course you do. That's your wife. But your wife, Lisa, allowed it. She kept getting in her face. I'm not saying that's the reason, but somebody put their hands on me. The way Lisa was positioned, my foot to her chest, I'm backing up, walking away. That's how you get away from all of that. But Lisa just kept being in it and staying there in the situation. Like, girl, ain't nobody that doggone surprised like Bambi, as if you can't move and get out the way. I don't know. In the heat of the moment, some people react and some people don't, I guess. But yeah, they getting ready for dinner and Lisa's purse. That was cute. Did y'all see that? That was really cute. Anyway, so Jen Tasmanian Shah has set up a luau for everybody. And they're having a somewhat of a good time, even though, shit happened on the boat. And then the strippers come. Ain't everybody married? I mean, ain't the majority. Hey, to each his own. I'm not a stripper type of chick. I experienced it when I first hit 21. And I believe that was the last time I've experienced it. I'm just not that type of it didn't move me to chorus at all. So I'm gonna move on. So then at dinner, Danna just she brings it up. She addresses Jen's behavior. And Danna calls out Heather too. Talking about how you were talking about Jen is not how you're acting now. And the same for Jen Tasmanian Shah. Angie calls out Jen. Well, this is not how you were talking about Heather before, but that's what I'm saying. Both Heather and Jen Tasmanian Shah are very much alike. They talk about each other behind their back. They come together. They're, Jen is looking for a friend, someone who has her back regardless. And Heather is codependent upon that. Like I say, I think her upbringing and her past has made her real sympathetic to the abuser. And from things that are being said and lawsuits being filed, that's common up there in Utah in those, in that type of religion, where, it's a lot of man-made rules that really are not beneficial to women. If, hey, but we ain't talking about that per se. I'm just talking about Heather and how she deals with Jen. It's just unhealthy, in my opinion. So yeah, we back, and Danna calls out Heather, like I said, and Danna said, why angieK won't publicly apologize? Well, it was said, and the producers, put it out there. angieK said that they're not going to publicly apologize because it will put them more so in the public eye with Jen and Tasmanian Shah and what she's going through. And they don't want to be associated. They consulted with their attorney. Hey, when you have a business and whatnot, you have to consult with your attorney before making public anything. And that's the rule. I'm not a business owner like that, but anytime you own a business, you have to consult with your attorney. I'm sure she consulted with her attorney before she agreed to start filming. So that's that on that. And Jen can't say nothing about it. That's just that on that. Now they can apologize, to them, I guess, just privately, but making public displays of affection and all that, nah. I agree. Child, then Heather and angieK go at it, back and forth and back. Like I mentioned, angieK was like, well, Jen, this is not anything like how you portrayed Heather in that conversation the other day. And child, like I said, they just going back and forth. And it seemed like Heather was trying to not be truthful and not be found out. But yeah, Heather's full of shit. And she fluffs everything, trying to make it, she has the gift of gab, and it ain't working. Lisa says Jen, Tasmanian Shah have selective memory. I agree. Just sitting there, you can just see her mind trying to, how can I get out of this? What can I say and do? But she's letting everybody else talk. Just like Melody S. Hope was letting Tiffany and Stormy just run her narrative about how she's relating to her ex-husband, but girl, and then she finally chimed in, trying to make it cute and sweet so that she's not looking, like she really is. Jen, girl, I see through all that Maybelline heifer. I see what you're doing. Yeah, but I think Jen was just sitting there lying and letting everybody else talk for her until she just apologized to angieK, like she should have before that particular evening. She knew she was wrong, and more people kept bringing up the fact that she was wrong and putting it out there. So she finally sounded apologetic, even though, I don't think she was, y'all. I just don't think she was. Whew. Whitney checks Heather. Heather was trying to, talk about Angie Harrington, Angie H, when Jen brought up her true feelings finally, as she was pressured to by angieK. So Jen, Tasmanian Shah, brought to Heather how she didn't appreciate inviting Angie H. And then Heather was like, you mean when she came with Whitney dressed in those matching outfits? Whitney's like, why are you bringing me in this? Heather said she's just trying to explain, her viewpoint. She said, but still, why are you bringing me in? Leave me out of this. I ain't got nothing to do with this. See how Heather deflects, trying to, and then all of a sudden it's an issue and a conversation trying to deflect off of. But see, Whitney got Heather's number. Whitney is not the dumb blind folks think she is. Hello. And I don't blame her. So yeah, just like Jen, Tasmanian Shah, Heather told Jen to find somebody else to be her friend because she is not going to deal with ultimatums. Pretty much Jen, Tasmanian Shah was telling Heather, you can't be friends with Angie H. Heather was like, I'm not doing that. You got me all the way messed up, girl. I'm not doing that. But yeah, that was a pretty good episode. Getting it in. Tasmanian Shah is coming off hands, child, more and more at every episode. But pretty much she's always been like this. She has always been like this. That was pretty much it for SLC, Real Housewives of Season 3, Episode 10. Jen going to prison. And it's sad. But Ramon, she shouldn't have did it. This episode was wild and crazy, and they don't need to do no more up close and personals on the waist down, nor do we need to see them dancing Whitney, get off of your head, girl. Stop being so wild, child. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time. Check out my outro.